everyone, welcome back to another video. So I've been gone for a while, 40 days to be precise, and there's a reason behind that. I'll talk about it later, but for now I'm going to be working on the next few pages of my picture book. And since I've already recorded everything, I know that I struggled a lot. So be prepared to hear all about my suffering. Oh, also, if you didn't know me, I am a 16-year-old author and I love to write about issues that I personally really care about. So I am working on page 7 right now, which you saw me sketch out in a previous video in the series. And you may notice that this video has no music. And this is because my trusty video editing program, which I've been using for years, has suddenly decided to lock half of their features behind a paywall. And most of these features were some of the more professional ones, I guess, which I didn't really use anyway. But the most devastating hit was that they took away the option to add music. So until I find a workaround for that, you're just gonna have to listen to the sound of my voice. Of course, I do understand that the developers have to make money, but this new update is bad for me because, as you might know, I donate 90% of my profits, so I am very broke, but I'll figure it out, hopefully. Okay, I want to talk about why I've been gone. So there's actually a variety of reasons. It all started when I got a sort of semi-art block, I guess you could call it. So basically I was looking at a lot of other people's art online, and that can sometimes be a recipe for disaster if you tend to compare yourself to other people. And that's what happened to me. I could not stop thinking about just other people in general, and at the same time, I'm a high school senior this year, so I'm applying to college. I was also looking at other people's profiles for applying to college, which made me feel really bad about myself because they're all profiles of like the students of top colleges. So in general, it was just I was just not in a very good mood for drawing. This lasted for about 2 weeks, and so everything I drew just looked terrible to me. And for this one, I decided, okay, I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna draw, and I'm going to finish this quickly so that I can move on to do something else, because I thought that these pages were just taking me way too long. I couldn't be spending like 3 hours on every single page that I drew if I'm gonna do 40 of them. So I used the paint bucket tool for most of the things that I filled in. Now, I don't usually do this. I usually color everything by hand, since I leave tiny little spaces between the lines and don't color things in fully to give off a more looser feel, I guess. And I was thinking, these little spaces are so small. Do they really make a difference to my art? And so I tried using the paint bucket tool, but then I found out the hard way that it does make a difference. It actually makes a big difference. I'm not sure if you can tell, maybe it's only obvious to me, but my art just looks so flat compared to before, and I really don't like it. I didn't want to redo this page completely over again because of time. So yeah, I just left it like this, but I did make a note to never draw like this again. So then my weird mood wore off and I started drawing again. But then I got really busy with having to travel back to the US after going to China for the summer and also starting school. And then after that, honestly, I procrastinated. Normally when people hear that I published 9 books, they're like, wow, you must be so driven, like you're so dedicated, but that's not true. I am the biggest procrastinator ever. Like, I am such a procrastinator that I don't do my homework the day before it's due. I do it the day that it is due. So yeah, basically I did not have very much motivation to keep doing these YouTube videos, so sorry about that, but I'm back now and I hopefully will start posting more consistently. Okay, so finally back to the drawing. I'm working on page 8 right now. After my bad experience with page 7, I decided that instead of trying to take shortcuts, like using the paint bucket tool, I was just going to let myself be more imperfect and make more mistakes. Because since this whole book is about the fact that art can be imperfect and still be valuable in the first place. So mainly this meant cutting down the amount of time I was spending on my handwriting, which previously sucked up a ton of the time that I was spending on these pages. And So I made my writing a little messier, and I was pretty surprised to find out that it didn't actually affect the final result all that much. It didn't look as pretty, of course, but it was still readable. It wasn't hard to understand or anything. So I was okay with this. I was okay that it didn't look as polished as before. So here we are. This is Alice Falling into Wonderland, also known as the land of AI-generated images. And now for this page, this is a pretty easy page, I feel like, because there's only 3 mini drawings of Alice, and then other than that, it's just a picture of a hand and a glowing light sparkle that I copied from another page, and under that, it's just a picture of a sketchbook on top of a table. So again, I let myself be looser with the handwriting. The rightmost drawing of Alice looks ridiculous, by the way. It's something about the eyes. I'm gonna fix it later. My idea for this page was that Alice slowly becomes more and more demotivated to work on her art because every time she puts her pencil down to draw, the picture just draws itself right in front of her because it's now being generated by AI, which in this story is represented by magic. If you don't understand the context, you'll probably get it once you watch the other videos in this series. So I colored everything normally at first. I imported the picture of the hand and the sparkle from a previous page, and then I started playing with the filters. As you can see in the top left of each box, it says what day of the week it is, and for every single day, the color becomes more and more desaturated, which represents Alice losing her artistic spirit. I wanted to do something interesting there. Hopefully it's cool, I don't know. We are now at page 10. We're a quarter of the way through this picture book. It's gonna take a while. I talked about my idea for this page in the last video in this series. I'm starting to realize that the format or like the way I order these videos doesn't really make sense. Like, why is the sketch in a different video than the line art and the coloring? So in the future, I'm gonna try my best to show the sketch and then directly after that show the line art and the coloring so I don't have to explain each page twice. That's also why this video doesn't have any sketching. It's so I can transition. So now I'm filling in Alice's base colors, and since you can see her pretty clearly in this picture, I'm going to talk a little about her character design, which I realized that I've never done before. So when I was designing her, I wanted her to look like she's creative, but she's not too like trendy or concerned about fashion. I hopefully achieved this with the layers of socks. I thought they looked really cute and made her look really artsy as well. And the mushrooms on her shirt, those are basically just trying to hint at the Wonderland aspects of it. There's a lot of mushrooms in this picture book that are hidden within the background, especially in Alice's bedroom. Like, she has a desk lamp that's shaped like a mushroom, and there is also a big rug in her room that has a mushroom on it. So after coloring Alice, I made the background gray, and I also added little lines of code in the background just to further make it even more obvious that this book is about AI, just in case anyone somehow did not understand that from all the more obvious hints that I'm going to put later on in this book. I also added a little white silhouette of a Scylla, which, just to remind you, is Alice's alter ego that is basically representing the AI in this story. And I'm not sure if anyone else will notice this detail, but it makes me happy, so we're leaving it in. This is page 11, the last page that I will be doing in this video. So something interesting happened here. So along the lines of the semi-art block that I was talking about at the beginning of this video, I was really disliking the way that I do line art. Just for this picture book in particular, it's technically the same as the line art that I do for my regular illustrations, but for some reason I just felt like it wasn't really matching this book and it wasn't making me feel very good about myself. So I was debating with myself, should I just stick with this line art style since I've already done it for so much of the book already and just like try to live with it, or should I change it? And I was about to just give up and not change it, but then I suddenly thought to myself, am I really going to spend the next few months of my life drawing 30 more pages with a line art style that I don't even like? And the answer was no, I did not want to do that. So I changed the style. I'm not going to go back and change the line art of all the other pages because that's just too much work. But from now on, I am going to use this style. So basically what I changed was I made it thicker for one. And also, I do not have pressure sensitivity on my phone, which is what I use to draw these pictures. And so because of that, instead of pressure sensitivity, I use speed sensitivity since I really love line variation, so I had to include it in somehow. Previously, I set my brush setting so that the line would become thicker if I draw slower. But here I try to switch it around so the line instead becomes thicker when I draw faster. And I found that this makes so much more sense. It's so much easier to draw this way. I'm not sure why I didn't think of it before, but I'm glad that I found that out now. I do like this style of line art a lot more than I did for the other one. It looks less like chicken scratch, which was my main concern before. I also discovered that my handwriting looks a lot better with this brush. It's a lot easier to write with as well. And the difference in this was so extreme that although I wasn't willing to change the line art of all my previous pages, I was willing to go over all of the handwriting to make it in this brush instead, which is really tedious, but I think it was worth it. I'm not going to show all that in the video, but in my opinion, it makes the writing look a lot better. And that is it for this video. Here is all the art that I drew. Thank you so much for sticking around this long. I really appreciate it, and I hope you have a great day.